YouTubers out there. Well, today I'm going to do a second video here on this RC brushless Mercury outboard for model boats. I did a review video here a couple months ago, and I left some things out, and I had a gentleman comment. He wanted to know some dimensions on this motor, and so I will go ahead and I'm going to make a second video here, and we're going to take some measurements. And I'm doing this one-handed, so I'll try not to move the camera around too much and make sure that you know, I try to stay as still as possible when I'm doing this. So I'll go ahead, we'll get started, and we'll take a measurement from the top of the motor down to the bottom of the skag, and let's see what we get. So I'm going to set the camera down and grab my calipers here, and we're going to measure it. So here we go. Let's see what we get here. I'll open these up, and I know right now you're not seeing anything, but you will in a minute. Okay, this here looks like, okay, we got a measurement here. Okay, and it looks like we got 5.7840. So, and that's, you know, just a rough measurement from the top here to the skag like that. So it's a pretty good size. It's not quite 6 inches, but it's getting close. So now the other thing we'll do is we'll take a measurement from in front of the motor to the back of the motor. So I'll set this down again, and we'll try this out. So I'll close this up, and there we go, and we'll get our rough measurement here. Try this again, and looks like, let's see what we got this time. Well, I don't agree with that measurement. Let me try it one more time. I think it's less than, I think I got the, there we go. Now that's more like it. Okay, I got the wire in there. 3.6715, and that's across this way, the width. So so now we'll take another measurement this way, from across here to here. So we'll set this down again, take another measurement, close these up like so, maybe. Okay, that should be pretty close. Let's see what we got now. Okay, looks like we got 1.88880. So that's how wide it is across, or how thick it is this way. So it's not too bad. It's a pretty good sized little RC motor. In my first video I stated that this motor was designed for boat sizes from 500 to 700 millimeters, which would be 31.5 inches, 31 inches roughly in length. So it's a pretty good sized RC boat. There are bigger ones, of course. They're gas powered, but it's for electric, it's pretty good. And then the other thing is the measurement from the bottom of the swivel bracket here was the other thing that he wanted to know, the distance between here and the center line of the bullet of the gear case. So I'm going to go ahead and take another quick measurement here with the calipers, and I'll probably have to set this down again. So let's see here what we get. Just as a rough guesstimate, I think it's this is kind of hard to measure on here, so I have to pardon the video here. I know you're not seeing anything, but you hear me, and I'm trying to take this measurement, and so there, we'll get that. It's rough. It's a rough measurement, but I get 1.538, and that's from here to here. But let's see here. Let me try again, just one more time. I just want to see if it's close, or I can get closer. I'm thinking I'll be able to. Well, maybe I can. Yeah, it's probably pretty close enough, I would say. And then I know from the bottom of from the middle of this horn, the steering horn here. This motor has dual steering horns, by the way, and I'm gonna come back and talk about that a little bit here in a second. I want to get the measurement for you. From the hole in the steering horn down to the center line here is like 2.10, and so that's the distance from here to the center line of the prop shaft. Back to the steering horn. When I first got this, I didn't know that there was actually a couple little set screws right down here in this hole in here and over here. It's got dual steering horn, which is really nice. I took these out, but this, here's the little Allen sets that were in those holes, and they're very tiny. You probably are asking, well, gee, how come you got 4 and you only got 2? Well, I got another outboard that I took all 4 of these out, and because the steering setup that I'm using is not going to use those. So, but if you go to stick a steering rod in there and you can't get it to go in, can't figure out why, well, that's because there's those set screws that are in there, so you got to take those out. And if you put them back in, you're going to use them, I would suggest that you probably try and use some Loctite, maybe, because they do come out pretty easy and they will fall out on the floor. I've actually had my steering linkage in here and all hooked up, and actually that set screw, you know, just from adjusting the steering back and forth, has actually worked the set screw loose, and it fell out on the floor. And they're very tiny and very hard to find. So with that said, so just be aware that those are there. The other thing is you get, when you buy these little motors, this Allen wrench here fits the will fit the set screw that goes in there. You just basically stick that in the horn there, and you can take the screw out, whatever. This will fit the other little screws in the motor. And they also give you a injection grease here, because there's some maintenance involved. After you use these motors, you got to make sure that you lubricate the cable in here, so that you don't break it or burn it up. This does not use gears. This is cable driven. Prop shaft size is 4mm, and I mentioned that in my last video. This is all aluminum, CNC aluminum. They did a really nice job. I don't know who manufactured these motors, but they look really good. They got fiberglass hoods, the decals, everything looks great. I don't know how long they last. I haven't got a clue. So I'm gonna find out. But anyway, and the water tube here, the input tube, when I mentioned in my last video that this is 5mm, this is not 5mm. This is 3mm water tube. So just so you're aware of that. And we have here the bullet connectors are 4mm, and I mentioned that in the other video, in the first video. So the propeller is